I think an organization that wants to bring about change, that requires a massive societal shift. It's a very, very complex process, and there's no one lever or one tool, I think, that brings that about. So I think those of us, involved in advocacy have a really an obligation to engage with all stakeholders, to meet stakeholders where they're at, and to try and work in partnership. I think perhaps one of the great lessons, I think, for many of us in advocacy, and we're I think learning this all the time, is we have to make sure that we don't end up speaking in an echo chamber. It's very, very easy to spend your days speaking to the converted, but that won't actually get us to where we need to be. I think AsIAM is an interesting organization in this space, in the sense that I guess when AsIAM was set up, it was about changing how autism is understood and how it is spoken about. And I guess I grew up in an Ireland where when we talked about autism or disability, it was all about changing the person. It was all about nearly saying, you're wrong and you need to be more like everybody else. What AsIAM wants to do is build the capacity of autistic people, but actually build a bridge between people who are autistic and people who aren't autistic. And the only way you can build a bridge is to work in collaboration. So that's very much been our working style. I guess when I was kind of thinking about this, I guess it may be the best way I see our organization being is a critical friend, that we're somebody who wants to work in partnership, that we're somebody that wants to acknowledge good change where it's happening. And I think it's really important to say, if we look, for example, in terms of diversity and inclusion, where we are now versus where we were 20 years ago, there has been great progress made. And it's important that that's recognized when it happens, that that's celebrated, that that's acknowledged. I think critically, it's important to co-create. We've had some great examples of that, even with business in the community members. I see Musgrave as a sponsor of the event today, and obviously the work we've done building autism-friendly communities around Ireland. We couldn't create autism-friendly shopping by ourselves, but equally Musgrave couldn't do it without us. It required a coming together, and I think that co-creation is really important. But I think finally, I think what it's about as well is accountability. So I think we have to acknowledge, we have to co-create, but ultimately we have to hold to account as well.